Hey Giants, it's Mrs. Wood, and I'm here today to talk to you about getting organized while you're doing your college applications. I want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to keep yourself on task and on time. So, one of the best things you can use is all the Google tools to help yourself stay organized for this. You can use those either in your own school Gmail, or you can use them in your personal Gmail. But it's a really good tool to use to keep yourself organized. So the calendar, the cool thing about Google Calendar is it will, once you put something in there, you can set it to send yourself a reminder. You can color code everything, so you can put things in under different color codes, so that you can keep everything straight by school. So there are lots of different tools that you can use to learn, that you can use to keep yourself organized on Google Calendar. Also, another thing that some people don't use is called Google Keep. And if you go to your your Google Apps, it's right in here, and you just set it up. And the thing about Google Keep is you can make it so that you have checklists. So you can make a checklist. You can make a note. You can put a picture in, however you want to do it. But if you do checklists for each school, then you can keep that straight. And then you can merge that with your Google Calendar. So you just go down and tell your Google Calendar down here is where you do it, and tell it you want to see Keep, and it'll show this on your sidebar. So you always have your checklist there ready to go. So use those tools to keep yourself organized. When you're using your Gmail, I would recommend setting up folders for yourself so that you can keep, or labels, so that you can keep your emails sorted by school. That way you'll always be able to find things that you've received from that school. And then the other Google tool that's really handy is setting up a spreadsheet. So you may not need to do this if you do all the other things, but a lot of people like to see everything in one sheet. So use Google Sheets, set up a spreadsheet, make a list of all your schools. You can put across, application, recommendation. If you need to send other things to them, you can check it off as you do it. That way you know exactly what's going on for each school. So these are just some online tools that you can use to help yourself stay organized and stay on task. So if you have actual papers from the schools, I would recommend getting some folders and either keep all of your college stuff together in one folder or keep a folder for each college. Folders are pretty cheap. You can get them for, 25 cents to $1 at Walmart or somewhere, and just get yourself a couple of folders and set that up for yourself. It'll help you keep yourself organized, and again, you'll know where to find things. Keeping track of your passwords. This is so important when you're applying to colleges. So write down all of your passwords and your usernames for your college websites. You can keep that in your phone. You can write it down. You can get a password organizer if you prefer that kind of thing. But it's especially important for your FAFSA, so for your free application of federal student aid, and your FSAID, because that's something you're going to have to use every year that you go to college. So you'll have to use the same login information. So it's really important to keep track of that. If you find it easiest, write it in those folders that you do for each college. But it's just very important to keep track of those passwords. So there are different types of applications, and I just want to go over those really quickly because that will also affect your deadlines, your organization, when you need to get things done. So early decision is a type of application that is called binding, which means that if you apply early decision and you get into the school that you applied early decision to, you are bound to go there unless you have shown that you financially cannot afford that based on the financial aid application. So only apply early decision if you're 100% certain this is your number one choice. Usually those applications are due November 1st or November 15th, thereabouts. But just be aware that when you check that box, that means that you are bound to that college. You can apply to other colleges, but if you get into that one, that's your number one choice. Early admission is not bonding. It's a little more flexible. You can apply to a bunch of different colleges early admission. The advantage to that is that you get notification early. So usually early admission is in November also, sometimes December. And then you'll get your reply from the college a little faster than you might have if you apply a regular decision. So regular decision is for students who might need a little more time. It's usually going to be sometime between December and February for the deadline, but it gives you a little more time. And generally, you're going to get your response back March or April. Also, there's another option called rolling admissions that a lot of schools have just as their option. And that means that when you apply, they usually get back to you within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you apply. So they get their applications in and they fill spots as the applications come in. So there's not a specific deadline. So when you're preparing to apply for college, make sure that you've done your college and career worksheet and sent it to your counselor. We've sent several emails to you guys as seniors, but if you need to find it, they're on the high school website right here. You click on that. If you go to the counseling department here, click on that. It'll take you to this website. It's on the college information. There's also a video on how to apply, which you might need to watch because how to fill that out. I'm sorry, because there is there are some directions for that. It's also on the career coach page, which you can also get to from the home site. And there's a video there, and the link for the form is there. So be sure that you fill that out and send it to your counselor. Also, be sure you're asking teachers ahead of time for recommendations. So if your school, the colleges you're applying to need a recommendation, go ahead and ask a teacher if you know that you're going to want to get a recommendation from them. So you've got this. There are lots of resources you can use to get answers if you get hung up and you're wondering about the process or you have a question. The actual website of the college that you're applying to is your main resource. You can also use college admissions counselors. They know the answers to almost everything, and they are very readily available and willing to answer your questions. Your school counselors here, they've been doing this a long time. They know the answers to a lot of questions. And please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. So you guys got this. You're going to get it done. Stay on task. Watch those deadlines. And go Giants.